You could do this as a lying down practice or as sitting up. This is a practice of deep resting in which we're going to turn our attention over and over again to the rest or the stillness or the peace that's already here. And for most of us, that won't be our only experience. For most of us, there will be a lot of other things going on as well. And to notice what peace or stillness is here, even with whatever else is going on. Start by bringing your attention into the room, into this time and space, this moment in time. The way the mind works is that we're generally scanning, looking to see if we're safe right now, if there's anything we need to be aware of. So as you're bringing your attention into this moment and into the environment that you're in right now, notice if there's anything external that you could set aside. Notice if your whole system of scanning and observing could relax and turn inward for this next 20 minutes or so. And notice where in your body that you're kind of activated a lot of the time. Sometimes it's the back of the neck and the shoulders, the large muscles of the back. There's a bit of readiness there or tightness there, ready to protect ourselves. And it could be in some other part of the body that there's some energy that maybe just for a little while could relax. Our natural system for relaxation happens on the exhalation, the parasympathetic nervous system, and the relaxation response. Breathe in deeply and then let yourself have a long, smooth exhalation. Let go of any tightness, any worry, any concern, anything that's holding tightness in your body. Let that go as you exhale. Deep inhalation. See if you can really move the air into your lungs right to the bottom, so the sides of the rib cage might expand a bit at the lower parts. And then exhale, release. Let your body's relaxation system come in. Let your whole body relax. The key to a practice like this is to notice what is here, not trying to change or organize it, not trying to get rid of anything. It's a matter of where we're focusing on right now. So notice right now if there's any sense of rest or peace or stillness. Even if it's just for a moment. And focus on that. Oftentimes we'll notice that our mind gets engaging again and there's something kind of compelling about a thought or a series of thoughts. And that's okay, that's how the mind works. And we're also keeping a bit of attention on the quiet. And then bring your attention into your physical body. Notice your forehead and your eyebrows. Raise your eyebrows and let them release. Notice if there's any sense of softening. If you could allow those muscles to really become smooth and soft. It's very common to hold worry or tightness in the forehead. Let that relax as you breathe out. Notice the energy of thought behind the forehead. For a moment, let's watch that process as thought comes in. It has whatever life it has. Sometimes it joins with other thoughts, sometimes it dissipates. See if you can allow your attention to rest on the gap or space between thought. And focus your attention on that location behind the forehead, below the skull, below the top of the skull, in front of the back of the skull. There's that place in our heads where thought kind of arrives when we're looking at thought, where it goes through, where we become aware of it. Focus your attention on that space that's happening in, and not so much on the content of the thought. Notice you might have a visual image of where that space is located, or a visual image of your head or something. That's fine. We have some system that lets us know location and boundaries. For most of us, thought doesn't appear in the throat or in the back of the neck. It appears behind the forehead. So notice the boundaries of that location. And notice that there's an energetic feel to thought as well. Sometimes thought is kind of restful. We might sit for several seconds without any thought coming up. And then something comes in. It might come in as words, perhaps with an image with it. There might be an energetic response in the body. We might tighten up against it. We might relax with it. We might get pulled into a stream of thought. Again, a very natural process that happens all the time to all of us. And right now, we're not absorbed in that stream or that train of thought. We're watching or witnessing that process as it happens. We're noticing where it's happening. And what the energy of that process feels like at the moment. And pay a bit of attention to the rest of your body as well, and to the way you're breathing. And notice if there's any rest or stillness or quiet anywhere in your experience that's not really affected by whatever's going on in your mind, your thought stream. Notice your arms and hands, the palms of the hands. Notice your legs and your feet. When we put our attention into the body, we might have thoughts about what we're observing. Notice your back of your body, the front of your body, and the torso, the inner parts. Notice what the environment is like in your body right now. And we'll move our attention away from the thought stream and down into your body. Notice the neck and the throat, your mouth, the sense of speech. Your neck and shoulders, the rib cage and the muscles surrounding the rib cage. That movement of your body with your breath. And notice the overall feel to your experience right now in your body. Sometimes we feel kind of restless or jumpy. Sometimes we feel calm. Sometimes there's a powerful or painful, perhaps even, energy. We have all different kinds of experiences in our bodies. So notice what's happening in your body right now. And let yourself focus on a particular area. Could be an area where there's some kind of energy. Notice the space around that energy. Notice the location and how far it goes. Some energy kind of fills up our whole container. Sometimes an energy feels more like a fist size in the stomach area. And as you're paying attention to that energy, notice if there's an experience of rest or quiet around the energy. How far does that energy go? What's its reach? And what's happening on the edges of it? Notice if there's a rest or a stillness, if there's anything around that energy that's undisturbed. And if it feels okay to bring your attention right into the center of the energy, notice if there's any stillness there. Energy often shows up as sensation. Sometimes there's movement, sometimes it's dense and still. Sometimes it feels very intense, other times it feels calmer. But notice what your experience is right now if you put your attention right in the middle of the space where that energy is. If there's no sense of peace in the energy itself, notice that and bring your attention to a wider arena, a wider area, and see if you can notice a sense of peace anywhere around that energy. And then let go of that awareness. Expand your attention again to include your whole body from head to toes. Rest your attention on your breath, either the movement of your body with the breath or perhaps the flow of your breath in your nose. See if you can allow your breath to be continuous and smooth and even. It's a natural process for our breath to change depending on what energy and emotions and thoughts are going on. And for a moment, rest your attention completely on your breath. Let the other sensory perceptions or thoughts move to the background. Notice with precise detail what the flow of air in the nostrils feels like. Notice how far in your throat you can feel your breath. And notice if there's any sense of restfulness or stillness or peace in watching the flow of your breath. There might be thoughts come in about your breath or about something else, and that's fine. Let those be a bit in the background if you can, and focus your attention on this detail of what does it feel like to be breathing, to have the flow of breath in the nose. Bring your attention back to include your thoughts. Notice the energy and the activity behind the forehead. And notice that you're watching or observing thought, that you're not in the middle of the thoughts. You're watching it from a different perspective, a higher level of the mind. And sometimes we get really absorbed in thought, and other times we can pull back and notice thought. And as a thought comes, see if you can allow it to just rest and dissolve back into the mind, and stay present with that gap or space before another thought comes in. Noticing if other thoughts come up, And seeing if you can stay focused primarily on this watching or observing. This way that thoughts arrive, they do what they do, then they dissipate. Depending on the thought, we might have a positive response, might be neutral, or we might have some kind of a charge or an energy response in our bodies. Keeping ourselves focused on this watching and observing that we're doing, and noticing if there's a feeling of rest or stillness as we're doing that witnessing or observing. And notice if we need our thought stream to be still or quiet or happy in order to experience a sense of rest. It's certainly easier, but notice if it's actually necessary. Anchor your attention into the body, to your breath. Observing this process of thought as it's arising. Notice how it just shows up. We don't really plan our thoughts. And then expand your awareness again to notice your whole body and your body breathing. Take a moment to go back through the practice that you've just done and make note of what that was like, where there was rest, where there wasn't. If you were able to access or notice stillness even for a short period of time. And then how thought might have come in or some kind of energy distracted you. And then later you could come back to it. And set an intention or a resolve in your mind that through the day you'll come back. Touch into this process of watching thought, of watching experience and noticing the experience and also noticing the space that it's arising in. And any sense of peace or stillness that might be there as well. And when you're ready, open your eyes.